Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Lutfatul Hasina and my friend Onei Febriandaru. We are from 11th group and now we will discuss about the functions of non-finite clauses. Last week, the 10th group has discussed about non-finite clauses and now we will discuss only the functions of non-finite clauses. Okay. Non-finite clauses appear in a very wide range of functions, but there are major differences between the four types. There are four types of non-finite clauses. The first is two infinitives, the second is bare infinitives, the third is past participles, and the last is gerund participles. Okay, now I will present about two infinitives. Two infinitives function as complement or modifier or adjunct in a considerable number of constructions. Here in the book there are 11 functions of two infinitives. The first is subject, second extra post subject, third extra post object, fourth internal complement of verb, 5 complement of preposition, 6 adjunct in clause, 7 and 8 complement of noun, 9th modifier in noun phrase, 10th complement of adjective, and 11th indirect complement. Okay, the first construction in two infinitives is subject. That is the example of subject constructions. To turn back now would be a mistake. So here, to turn back now, this is have underlined, and to turn back now is the subject. Is the subject of non-finite clause. We can see the underlined sentence. Oh, the underlined word. I mean. Okay, the second construction is extra post subject. The example is, it would be a mistake to turn back now. As we know that extraposition is a construction or transformation in which a clause that acts as a subject is moved or extraposed to the end of the sentence. And in this sentence, it would be a mistake to turn back now. So, the underline, this is to turn back now, is extrapose subject. To turn back now refers to it, the subject. The third is extrapose object. The example is, we considered it sensible to take legal advice. To take legal advice, that is the underline here, and to take legal advice refer to it, the object of the sentence. Next, internal complement of verb. The example is, her parents intend to buy her a car. This is to buy her a car, that is the underline here, and to buy her a car refers to intent. Intent is verb. Intent is the verb in this sentence. The fifth is complement of preposition. The example is, I go to the gym in order to keep fit. To keep fit refers to in order. In order is preposition. As we know that there is underline in to keep fit. So here to keep fit refers to preposition. The next is adjunct in clause. I go to the gym to keep fit. To keep fit as adjunct in this sentence, in this clause. Next, complement of noun. It provides an opportunity to broaden the mind. Opportunity is noun and to broaden the mind is to infinitive. So to broaden the mind refers to the noun opportunity. The next, there is modifier in noun phrase. There is two example of this construction. The first is we found a big box in which to keep the CDs. And the second example of modifier in noun phrase is we found a big box to keep the CDs in. The sentence is same, but the difference is only in WH. The difference is only in WH type. The first example that is which, but the second example that is no. But the both of them refers to big box, the noun phrase. So the infinitive to infinitives here is modifier in big box noun phrase. The next is complement of adjective. The example is he was anxious to make a good impression. To make a good impression refers to anxious adjective. And the last is indirect complement. He is still too young to be left alone. In the last construction, the infinitive is an indirect complement in the structure of an adjective phrase. It is listened by to, but it functions as a dependent in the phrase he did by young. Okay, now we will talk about interrogative infinitives. Infinitives functioning as complement to verbs, prepositions, nouns, and adjectives can be interrogative if the head listens one. Some examples. Here. That is 4 examples. The first is complement of verb. I don't know whether to accept their offer. Whether to accept their offer, it is shown that it is the interrogative infinitives. And the construction is complement of verb, so this interrogative infinitives refers to verb no. The second is complement of adjective. I am not sure how to proceed. How to proceed is in interrogative infinitives, and this is refers to sure, the adjective. The third is complement of preposition. The example is they cannot agree on what to do about it. What to do about it? This is interrogative infinitives and refers to preposition on. And the last is complement of noun. A decision whether to go ahead hasn't been made. Whether to go ahead refers to noun decision. Closed interrogatives are introduced by the subordinator whether and open ones by an interrogative phrase like who or which one or how. The meaning of infinitival interrogatives is deontic. For example, in the first construction, complement of verb doesn't mean that I don't know whether I do accept their offer or did accept it. It means I don't know whether I should accept it. Okay, now we will talk the second type of non-finite clauses, that is bare infinitives. In contrast to infinitives with their wide range of uses, bare infinitival clauses occur in only a very limited set of functions. They hardly occur except as internal complements of certain verbs with no subject permitted. Here there are 4 examples. The first is you should take legal advice. This is complement of modal auxiliary. Should here is modal auxiliary, and take legal advice refers to modal auxiliary should. The second is I want you to help clear up the garage. Clear up the garage is bare infinitivals, and here clear up the garage is refers to help, the verb. The third, the devil made me do it. Do it refers to made, the verb. And the last, all I did was ask a simple question. Ask a simple question refers to be. Be here is did.
Okay, and now I would like to explain about gerund participle. As my partner previously explained about to infinitive, and now I will explain about gerund participle. Actually, gerund participle, there are similarities to infinitive, but there are some important differences in it. So, for the first function is subject. Gerund can be subject at the beginning of a sentence. For example, bringing your dad in the deal was a great idea. And then the word bringing is a gerund participle as subject. Said bringing at the beginning is gerund participle as subject. And then the second is extrapose subject. An example is it's been a pleasure talking to you both. And then the next is as object. For the example is I find talking to Max rather stressful. If in to infinitive, extrapose can occur in object and subject. But in general participle, it can occur a subject, it followed by predicative complement as the example that I have given. And then the next is extrapose object. For the example is he considers it a waste of time going to meeting. So the next function is internal complement of verb. In this case, the gerund participle occurs after the verb and it becomes a complement of the verb. The example is I remember telling you about her visit. In this case, the gerund is as the complement of verb. So for the next is complement of preposition. In this case, the gerund function as a complement of preposition. Then the gerund is after preposition in a sentence. For the example, he insists on checking everything himself. In preposition, usually don't use to infinitive as complement, but it usually use gerund complement. So for the next is adjunct in clause. In this case, the gerund participle has function as adjunct, which is if the gerund is not in the clause, then it doesn't affect and will not change the meaning. Different from the complement that must have as information on the clause. For the example is having read the paper, I cannot see why you care. So for the last function is modifier in noun phrase. In this case, the modifier, the noun phrase in that clause, and it can add the explanation of the noun. The example, who was the doctor performing the operation? And in noun phrase, gerund is usually used as a modifier but not as a complement. So for the next, I would like to explain about past participle. Past participle doesn't have many functions, only a few functions are explained. And now I will explain the function of past participle clause. The function in this past participle is complement and modifier. For the first is internal complement of verb. If in complement of verb, past participle can be either perfect or passive, like the first example. She has written another novel. That is the example of perfect. So the second example is I could have you dismissed on the spot. And it is the example of passive. So for the next function is modifier is in noun phrase. The example is the guns stolen in the break-in were recovered. As modifier, a past participle clause is interpreted as passive. The underlined non-finite clause in the example is essentially equivalent to the infinite relative clause which were stolen in the break-in. So maybe that us for our from us. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.